Welcome to the channel, guys. I am going to discuss today with you another Pagani design. This watch was kindly donated to the channel by Trendy Men's Store, AliExpress. Much appreciated. So that's why you saw the paid promotion. They haven't actually paid me, they just gave me a watch, which, guess what? I'm going to be honest with it, because you're going to smell through any crap I give out. If it's going to be, oh, this is the best watch you've ever seen, go and buy it and pay me loads of commission. No, I'm actually not that impressed by this watch, and you'll see why. So honesty will prevail, and you'll get all the details you need to know in this video. So the next bit after me waffling is the stats and specs. So I'll see you after that, and we'll get down to business and having a closer look at this watch. See you in a moment. So here it is. Now we're going to get straight into my dislikes, move on to the likes, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to do a strap show today. I don't have quite enough time to go through sorting all that out. I've got a little note list here because there's quite a lot. So let's start with size and weight. 42mm, very chunky and thick. Let's get this out of the way. It's quite heavy as well. I've sized this up for me. I have a 7-inch wrist, and this weighs 166 grams, so you can definitely feel the weight of it on your wrist. And if I took this off the bracelet and put it on something lighter like a leather or a rubber, it would feel even more top heavy because the weight distribution is very much all in the top, in the head of the watch. So that's my first criticism. And that moves on swiftly to thickness, which I think is just too thick. I know this has a MIYOTA movement. They're not dramatically thick or bulky movements. They could have slimmed this down. It doesn't have a bulbous case back. I've opened the back of this and had a look inside, and there's room to slim this down a bit. And we've got this domed crystal as well. It's just a very bulky watch, and that's hence why it just has that disproportionate weight distribution. Next up, I'm not happy with the movement in this. The MIYOTA 8000 series, the 8215 in here, it's just not as refined as what we're used to with an NH35 or equivalent, because it's just got that rotor wobble. It's a bit noisy, and this is quite... Bear in mind, this is £90 plus taxes before you use my discount code, which is going to be in the description from the Trendy Men's Store. It's still a reasonably expensive Pagani design, and it's got no hacking on the movement, and that's just annoying. So that's a bit of a cop-out, bit of a cheapskate kind of thing to offer, unfortunately. I know there's been supply issues with NH35s, but I'm just fed up with this movement. Next up, I don't like these faux rivets. Two reasons. One, they snag a bit inside the lugs. Look, they actually bind a bit, so I don't like that, and I think they look a bit crap. The clasp is slightly awkward. It's it's beautifully machined and made and everything, but it just doesn't have a positive click. You have to really push it. It doesn't feel very well engineered. So if I go like that, you have to push it really hard, or instead you have to do it a different way to I'm used to. Is you have to use the pushers to help it seat in, but that just feels like there's something not quite right there. Again, a little bit of a quality control issue. The loom is a deal breaker. It is abysmal. The hands are the worst. That's the first thing you should expect to be pretty decent, and if the indices are average, that's okay, but the hands are woeful. And even more annoying, the minute hand is the worst. That is just gone in minutes. It's whoever works at Pagani Design and thinks it's a good idea to not apply good loom needs to be fired, because Steel Dive do it, Addy's Dive do it. People do appreciate good loom. I'm not just biased because I like loom. All you ever hear is how much people like loom, especially on a dive style watch that's got another flaw, which I'll go on in a minute. It's only got 100 meters water resist. Again, I'm not happy with that. But the loom is just woeful. Another weird thing is the 90 click bezel. Why 90? Why not 60 or why not 120? Just a bit weird. Are they copying what a Tudor does? I don't know. The Tudors that this is homaging, do they have 90 click bezels? I don't think so. That's just me. Remember, all these opinions and dislikes are generally It's just my opinions, guys. Another thing that's a little bit odd is the mismatch in the colour between the hands and the indices. The hands are a lot whiter, definitely to my naked eye, to the ever so slightly ivory white indices. Don't know if it comes out clearly on camera, but again, I don't like that mismatch. And the fact the loom is abysmal on the hands makes it even more annoying. Diver's extension, pointless, as this isn't really a diver's watch. And that's not a sweaty day extension, because if your wrist sweats, expands that much on a hot day, I would say you need to go and see a doctor. So yeah, that's a bit of a roasting for 5 minutes. Now we're going to talk about my likes, because there are some. I like the all brush finish, especially the bezel insert. That's really cool. I do like this. It adds sort of a more consistent finish throughout. A little bit of polishing on details on the bracelet on the sides and the chamfer here on the lugs between the mid case. I do like that. I do think the finishing is really good, actually. It really is impressive. The brushing is very good, and the bracelet, again, the finishing is beautiful, really nicely done, and all the screws came in and out nicely on this faux riveted screw link, solid link bracelet, so that's a positive. It's actually comfortable, even though it's a bit top heavy and floppy. It's still comfortable. There's no awkward hot spots on your wrist or anything like that. It does just feel a bit top heavy and a bit clunky. The bezel feel, even though I don't like 90 clicks, it's actually really nice feel. There's no back play, no wobble, no bounce or anything like that when you press it here and there. It feels like a really well machined piece, and it's got a nice crisp sound to it as well. I know we get all nerdy about the sound of a bezel, but it sounds and feels really good. So hats off to Pagani for getting the bezel action spot on with this, in my opinion, of course. Shame about that blooming loom being so crap. I love this big crown. It's just so easy to get a grip on. No garish extra colours here on this part here, because some of the other ones they do have got a sort of a garish red coloured thing there. I just think it looks a bit tacky. It's nice to have black on there to match the stealthy black dial. The specs overall are good. You've got solid end link, solid bracelet, screw pins, sapphire crystal, a Japanese auto movement, and a milled clasp. And it all adds up to being a decent specification. But again, we've been used to something having even a little bit more things done better, like I've mentioned, an H35 movement or an H38 if it doesn't have a date window, and definitely better loom for around this price point. Examples of that would be Steel Dive. Another example would be Felida. Another example would be the field style watches from Octopus Kraken store. I know they're a bit more money, but it's worth spending a few quid more to get something that's better quality. And I really like these female end links, even though there's this binding here of these faux rivets snagging a little bit on the lugs. But female end links is good because that 50mm lug to lug is really helped along with these conforming female end links. So just to remind you, here it is on wrist. Yeah, I think it's really good for comfort, but a bit top heavy. I have a dangerous condition when it comes to watches, not the usual kind of being addicted to buying them and things like that. I've got another one. It's called Pagani Design Fatigue, and that's what I've unfortunately started to develop with Pagani Design watches. I'm getting a bit fed up with the quality control issues, especially at these higher prices. I'm fed up with the loom generally being poor, even though they say it's much better. It's not. And I'm just getting a bit fed up with the lack of finessing the designs down a bit, getting them slimmer, get the proportions a bit better. I think they can do it, but they just need to get there quicker, because other brands are doing it for about the same, if not less. Steel Dive, Addy's Dive, Bolton, Octopus Kraken. Their watches, some of the ones that they offer are very similar price, but they definitely offer more for your money. Get better. But if you enjoyed my video today, definitely give it the old thumbs up. And if you've watched me a few times, or if you just like this video, subscribe. I'm hoping to get to 10,000 by Christmas. If I don't, doesn't matter. It's not the be all and end all. I just will keep making videos. And speaking of that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.